What's next for Pan in the Dragon Ball franchise? You know, they made Pan pretty useless in Dragon Ball GT. They never really developed her and gave her a new Super Saiyan form, which is not necessary, but they never let her become her own character. She kind of just tagged along with Goku and Trunks, and the good thing is Dragon Ball GT is no longer canon. I don't know if it ever really was, but I really did not like that version of Pan. I think there was a lot of potential there. She had a cool look for the time, but they really dropped the ball in Dragon Ball GT with Pan's character. And then in the end of Z, little Pan was like Goku's first major student, I guess you'd say. And she was a badass. She was kicking butt. She was kicking butt in that World Martial Arts Tournament in the Tenkaichi Budokai. And then Goku decides that UUB is the much better choice to be his number one student. Which is understandable. He's got the potential of Majin Buu, or Kid Buu, within him that makes him absolutely OP as shit going forward. So it makes a lot of sense, but he kind of leaves Pan, his first real student, in the dust when they bounce from that tournament. And it's like, what happened to Pan there? And if GT isn't canon, and who knows if the end of Z scene will ever be fulfilled, Pan should continue to be a great martial artist. And if anything, Pan should be the replacement for Goku in the series when they decide to finally allow Goku and Vegeta to retire, at least from combat. Unless they become immortals and gods going forward and fight for the rest of eternity, which very well might happen. The new Dragon Ball Super movie, Superhero, has shown some images of a 4-year-old, 3-year-old Pan, and so that means they're deciding to starting to age these characters up, which is very exciting, especially for characters like Goten and Trunks. But also equally exciting for a character like Pan. So far has just been a cute little baby in Dragon Ball Super. And we know it's eventually going to lead to her fighting. Why would they even show that she can fly? And she's already a very strong child without training. So you have to think that Pan will become a martial artist, and I think that it'd be really cool for the series if she became a great warrior like Goku, and maybe eventually became a Super Saiyan. She doesn't necessarily need to. I think that Super Saiyans have become a little overrated. Transformations have gotten a little too wild lately, and I'm a little over them. But she could do her own thing. But I think it'd be great to see her train under the tutelage of Goku. More importantly, I would like her to train under her Uncle Piccolo, more than anything else. I think it would make a lot of sense for her character if she became Piccolo's student, especially after her father was Piccolo's first student. And I think that that'd be really cool. Gohan is kind of in that weird limbo where they can't decide if he wants to be a martial artist or a scholar, a businessman, a father. And that's fine. I think they should just shit or get off the pot. Let Gohan be a dad that just doesn't really like fighting unless it's just to defend his family. And that's fine. Just accept that. But allow Pan to be a great martial artist like her grandfather before her. Allow her to train under Piccolo. Allow her to train under all the greats from the past. Wouldn't it be great if they told an adventure story of her setting out to go train with all the great masters of Dragon Ball's past, one at a time? Like if she went out and trained with Piccolo for a year or 6 months, went out, found Tien and trained with him, trained with Krillin maybe, trains with Android 18, trains with Master Roshi if he's still kicking. Goes out, eventually when the time comes, maybe she doesn't want to train with Goku until feels like she's ready. Or they do the gimmick where Goku and UUB fly away. And she's like, what the hell? Goku, or Grandpa Goku, you were supposed to be my sensei and my grandfather, and yet you leave me in the dust like you did Gohan over and over again. And maybe she decides, okay, well, I learned the fundamentals and a lot more from Goku, my grandfather. Maybe now I need to set out and prove to him that I can have just as much potential as UUB. That would be a really cool story. We'll catch up with Goku and UUB down the line, but let's spend a saga of Pan just going out there and developing her character, learning from masters of the past, characters who have aged out physically, who probably shouldn't be fighting the main villains, like a Tien at this point in the series, or a Krillin, especially a Master Roshi. And a Piccolo who is probably still young enough to keep up, but it's time for the next generation to take over. Time for Pan, Trunks, Goten, and UUB to take command in these fights. Maybe we can scale back the power levels of some of these villains. Maybe we're not on the god tier any longer. Maybe we just scale that back a little bit. Let's go back to the basics. Let's let her learn moves from Piccolo that, classic things like the special beam cannon, the tri-beam, or the Destructo Disc. Could you imagine Pan pulling out a Destructo Disc mid-fight? Could you imagine Dragon Ball actually spending the time with a new character and developing them into something amazing? I think if they really did that, they would sell the toys they want to sell. They would sell the video games they want to sell. And not only that, Pan can take this series into another 10, 20 years of development. And then on the back burner, you've got UUB. You've got UUB, Pan, you've got Krillin's daughter, Marron, if they decide to make her a fighter. Whoa! Now you've got two strong females. You've got UUB, Goten, and Trunks if they decide to let them become martial artists. You got a crew here. And instead of relying on Goku and Vegeta to carry the entire franchise on their back because they're too afraid to allow Tien, Krillin, and Piccolo an opportunity to shine, they've got these kids of our past generations, a reincarnation of Kid Buu, all together, led by Pan. Pan, the daughter of Gohan. Gohan, a great mind, almost a genius in some, you could say. He's a scholar, Maybe she's a great strategist. Maybe she learns that from Piccolo. That'd be sick as hell. Maybe she learns the Kikoho from Tien. That'd be dope as shit. And of course she'll know the Kamehameha. And of course maybe they teach her the Kaioken. That'd be sick. And then slowly build to her eventual Super Saiyan transformation. Or legendary Super Saiyan transformation. Who knows? The potential is there. They could make it happen. And, there's also Vegeta's daughter as well. Who knows? Maybe they'll allow her to be a fighter in this version of the story. Then you got 3 major females in this story that can fight, along with 3 major males with UUB, Goten, and Trunks. That'd be dope. These 6 protectors of Earth, protectors of Universe 7. I feel that that's what should be next for Pan. If we're going to start aging these characters up, I'm sure at first she's just going to be a cute girl, but I think that she could be a fighter, like her grandfather before her. As a kid, Gohan was only like 4 or 5 years old when he started training to fight the Saiyans. Pan will be about that age in this new movie. She's got to already have some training under her belt, is what I'm assuming, especially if they're going into the end of Z and beyond. Let Pan slowly grow up. Give us a journey, a hero's journey with this girl and her of the other children of the Z fighters going forward. And you can really tell some really good stories. Some real character development that does not involve Goku, does not really involve Vegeta. They can still be in the story and show up for major moments, but if they're still around, of course. But I feel like it's time to shift focus to somebody like Pan. I mean, we've already dropped the ball with characters like Tien and Krillin, and even Piccolo in some ways, and Gohan. And they've pretty much been forgotten by the storytellers and only show up for nostalgia's purposes, like in Resurrection F. And they get minor moments, which is okay, and it gives you jacked up for that moment, but then you realize how empty that moment was when you really want to see these characters develop and be on par with somebody like Goku and Vegeta, which is almost impossible at this point. They are so beyond in their power scaling. Vegeta and Goku with their Ultra Instinct and their Destruction God energy and their Super Saiyan God power. It's almost impossible to imagine another generation ever reaching those heights. And they don't need to, especially if you find a way to write Vegeta and Goku out of the story, killing them, abducting them, allowing them to become quote-unquote gods, and they have to leave for a while, and maybe they'll show up occasionally or show up to train future generations, kind of like how Whis is training Goku and Vegeta now. But there's a lot of hidden potential in Pan going forward in the series, especially if they allow her to stop being a baby, especially if they allow her uncles, Goten and Trunks to, well, not, you know what I mean, to allow them to grow up and also be mentors to her because they've seen some shit. Allow them to train and learn their own techniques and be their own characters. It'll be a blast to see so. You could have a love story between Pan and UUB, which would be kind of weird, but also really cool. Some stuff we haven't seen in Dragon Ball really ever, story-wise. We can get back to what we loved about this series, the adventure, not just the epic battles. Yes, there will still be epic fights. It's Dragon Ball. It's gonna happen. But if we can, scale it back a notch and allow these young human characters, these half-quarter Saiyans, an opportunity to shine and carry this franchise into the 2030s and 2040s. We have plenty of years ahead with Dragon Ball, and we cannot rely on Goku and Vegeta for much longer. It's starting to get annoying, to say the least, and a lack of a better word right now. And I think doing a big time skip, allowing Pan to be a 12-year-old or a 10-year-old, giving her the training she deserves with all these amazing masters of the past needs to happen. At the very least, allow her to train with Piccolo, while UUB becomes Goku's little student. And I think we have a lot to look forward to if that happens. Let Pan be the main character. Let UUB be her Vegeta. That'd be sick as fuck, if you ask me. Allow other characters like Goten and Trunks to support them with their fusion dance and whatnot. It could still be dope as shit, people. We just need to let other characters shine for once, especially the new ones, especially Pan, who's been around for years and just never used properly, or used at all, really. And this is our opportunity to start that journey in this new movie, and hopefully going forward, if this movie turns out to be canon. I'm Mr. Morfetto. What do you think? Do you think that Pan can be a leading lady in the Dragon Ball franchise going forward? Or do you just want the spotlight to stay on Goku and Vegeta from here until the end of time? Let me know in the comments. Also, please subscribe to the Mr. Morfetto YouTube page for more amazing Dragon Ball and other anime franchise content. I'll talk to you later.